Hello and welcome to Life is Feudal, Forest Village. In the previous episode I left off with quite a few things that were outstanding and needed to get done. But I want to kind of shift the focus over to donkeys, because we've got this market here and it's really going to waste because I've got all these resources building up. You know, we've got grain, we've got wool. I mean, the barn over here is starting to get full because we've got two weavers, but there's only one of them making use of the wool. Actually, I think what I'll do while I'm at it then is I'll get these to switch over to warm clothing then, because we've got plenty of the normal clothing but not enough warm clothing, so I'll get them to switch over and that might help a bit. But I mean, you just look, I mean, 10,000 wool, that's a massive amount of wool. You know, I've only got like a small sheep farm, so I really want to be able to trade those items out over for other things using the market. But I need donkeys, and hopefully then I'll be able to get some other types of food, because even though we've now got like these two apple orchards here, fruit's still in short supply. We've got tons of vegetables, but meat struggles, fruit struggles as well, so I've really got a big incentive to get this market going. So what I'm going to do is, I've got an option here to do an animal expedition. I'm just going to leave this as is because it's going to take a while for the tools to get made, and I don't want to interrupt the food supply. I mean, I could have paused these off. I could have locked out you know, fish pies, meat pies and the vegetable pies to make sure that, you know, the port here got all the pies it needs, but I'm just going to leave it there to play out. If it doesn't go to plan, it's taking too long, then I might freeze them out for a short period, but we'll see. But that's pretty much my priority. I mean, I've already got a donkey farm here ready to go. It's just on pause, so there's nobody assigned. But the plan is, as soon as I get a donkey, it's going to go in here, and we'll get them breeding, so I've got more of them. Because these donkeys, they're at risk of being attacked by the wolves that are out there, so that's a big issue. So it's one of those things where when you've only got one donkey, I've really got to keep an eagle eye on it, because otherwise once you lose it, it's gone. You've got to start again. Right, so we've switched our weaver over. The other thing I was going to do was to build a bathhouse here, so we're waiting for this house here to get upgraded. It's already been built, it just needs upgrading so it can support 12 people. The plan at the time, I was going to switch all of these people over to here. I think what I'm going to want to do this time round, I want to actually increase the population, because I'm kind of struggling with people. I've got a lot of things to do, I just don't have many people to do it. So I think what I will do actually is I'll get everybody over to the new building, and then I'll reopen this building here, so that I'll have a bathhouse here. This house will get demolished, a bathhouse will go in there, and then that'll, you know, should make people more happier. And I'll reopen this house, and then that'll increase the population slightly up to 6 people. I've built an actual school down here to replace that one there, because the plan was I want to be able to take full advantage of this. I mean, you know, it has a, if you build a bathhouse down here, if I can find it, it's a decoration, isn't it? Yeah, it has like an area of effect around it, so anybody living in that area, they get a boost to their happiness. So the idea was to move the school down to here, so that way I could build more houses. But I've actually noticed the school itself's got an area of effect as well. So you've got to be living within that area for your kids to actually go to school. And the trouble is, that one there, it's missing that house up there. So any kids that are born here, I'm assuming, won't actually then go to school, which isn't good at all. So I'm going to have to rethink this. I'm going to have to find somewhere else to put the school, maybe in the middle here somewhere, so that it gets more coverage, because that one there seems wasted, because it's going, you know, it's going right out to into the ocean, so that's kind of pointless. So yeah, I might probably put it up here somewhere if I can. But there are other things. I've got to wait for these watchtowers to get built. They're in the process of getting upgraded, but they need, you know, they need lots more stone. So it's going to take a bit of a while. So I'm just going to pause the video, and I'll bring you back once we've made a bit more progress. Okay then, so we're into late spring, and the ship's come back and it's discovered cattle. So that's a bit of a bummer. I was really hoping to get some donkeys. Okay, that's a bit puzzling. I don't have any options for animals now. I mean, I don't remember ever getting an option to that basically said we discovered any donkeys. I mean, we've had a farm for quite a while, and I remember testing it where I had this actually working, but there was no donkey. So I'm gonna unpause that. I'm going to reduce the number of herdsmen to 4 to make sure that everybody goes where they're supposed to. Because I did have problems before where I'd made a pig pen once, and I assigned like an extra herdsman. I just added, you know, I increased the number here to say, oh, I'll have an extra herdsman. And unfortunately, they went to the donkey farm, and then the pigs starved to death. So there's a maximum. There's only 4 people working in this herdsman profession. One's looking after the coop. 2 are looking after the sheep, and one's going to be looking after donkeys. So I want to see if any donkeys turn up. What I've been doing is I've put in an instruction to build a castle barn over here. I mean, this one's getting full, and although I am going to be clearing out the wool at some point once I do get some donkeys. I'd rather have the 2 anyway, because we're going to be expanding westwards here anyway, putting in more pastures, orchards, that sort of stuff. I've got my instruction in for the weaver over here, so we can move this one. This little school down here is getting deconstructed, but I'm struggling to find somewhere to put it. I need a more central location so I can get it to, you know, to cover all of the houses, and down here wasn't quite close enough. It needs to be higher, so I think I'm going to have to get rid of the pig pen here, or what would have been a pig pen, and put the school up here instead. But I'm just going to wait until this gets deconstructed for now. I've got everybody to transfer across to here, so this house got built. I paused both of these buildings off to force everybody out. I then unpaused this, and then the builder just finished off the last bit of the house, and that was it. Everybody piled into this house. I've got an order in to deconstruct this house. Once that's finished, I'll then put the bathhouse in. But I'm curious to see what's happened to the donkeys, because there's no sign of any donkeys. And I don't have an option to go out and discover any either. I mean, it says 0 of 10, so I'm a bit puzzled now. I mean, the last time I played through it, I do distinctly remember going out in search of donkeys and discovering them. I mean, from the get-go, when you play the game, you've got a donkey farm, or at least you can build a donkey farm, and you can build the caravan stable. So that's the caravan stable there. But I distinctly remember having to go out and do an expedition to get donkeys, and I don't remember ever discovering donkeys. So this just seems a bit weird. I mean, we've got a herdsman looking after the place, but there's no donkeys, and there's no option to search for them. The only thing I remember at the time was I did actually have a caravan stable, because I built a caravan stable. And that's when I found out later on that the donkeys will die of old age. So after that, I then built myself a donkey farm. And I then started breeding donkeys. So, I mean, that's the only thing that's missing at the moment. I mean, I don't see any other way of getting them, because I don't have an option to go and do an expedition. There's none showing here in the farm. So, where can we put this? I'll tell you what, I mean the market's there, so let's we'll put the stable there. Oh, can't build in this area. We cannot build in this area. Why can I not build in this area? Oh, hang on a minute. Is there anything? Oh, right, there's a lamppost in the way, that's why. Right, well, I'll get an instruction in there to take that lamppost out. Then we'll get our caravan stable built over here, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay then, so our bathhouse has now been built, so that's good. And we've now got a donkey. We've just got the one, so I'm gonna have to keep a real eagle eye on this thing. Basically, what happened as soon as the caravan stable up here was built, a donkey popped up. So what I've done is I had it relocate down to the farm. So while it's there, it'll breed, and we end up with more donkeys. Because basically, what I did is I actually went and checked the wiki first, and it's a bit confusing, I find, because it says to get donkeys, you either build a caravan stable, or you go and find them in a like an animal expedition. Now, up until the point I built that caravan stable, I had a donkey farm, but there was no donkeys there. And as far as I'm aware, I've never had any donkeys in this playthrough. But this port wasn't giving me any more animal expedition options, so I thought that was a bit confusing. So I've come back, and it actually does have an option now to do another animal search. So from what I can tell, and what it means is that you've got to build one of these caravan stables. Once you've built one of these, you've got that option available in the port to then search for donkeys. So that's what it means. So yeah, you can go out and search for them, but there is that provision: you must have a caravan stable first. And every time you build a caravan stable, you will get a donkey. So it does give you a couple of options of getting donkeys, really. But basically, you just can't do an expedition for donkeys until you've built a caravan stable anyway. So it's a case of, now that I've got one, I need to keep a close eye on this one. I really needed to breed, because I mean a wolf might come in and kill it, could die of old age, so I don't want to put it straight into work. I want it to breed. I want more donkeys. So once we've got 3, I'll come back and we'll start doing some work with the market over there, because I'll send one of the donkeys over to the caravan stable, and I'll leave 2 of them here to breed. So the bathhouse is finished over there. I've been doing some cleanup. I've decided to build a healer's shop over here, because this one here does have a limited range as well, I've noticed. And again, it's going right out into the ocean. Even that one there doesn't stretch as far down to here, unfortunately, so it's something I'm going to have to bear in mind, is that as I expand west, it's going to be in my interest to probably build a healer's shop slightly south to incorporate that. I've also put a school in up here, so that way I'm covering up here. Again, that's the same thing where it doesn't quite reach there, so again, I'll have to build another school at some point somewhere down here. But at least then I'll be able to, move this school. So that's what they're focusing on at the moment. The baker here has been moved slightly to the left, and I've got a foundation in for a house. We're terraforming up here because I want to move an orchard. There's an orchard here, and I want to move it up to here. I then want to start building a cattle pasture here. I want to do more terraforming down here so I can get a mill in here, and I'm doing it down here so I can, build a flax farm. That one will end up. I'll have a look and see if there's any room for another farm around closer to the donkey farm. If there is, I'll just move that one up. I'll just move that farmer up to here, and that way I'll get them to do grass, and then it's closer for the donkey, the donkey farmer over there to look after the donkeys, because the grass will be a lot closer. One thing I've noticed though is that the food production's dropping. So what I've done is I opened up this potato field here, and I've now got 14 farmers assigned to fields. The trouble is now I don't have enough places to do the actual fishing. See, you've got 14 farms but only 12 places for fishing lodges. So what I'm doing is I'm going to build a road across here, and then I'm going to put a fishing lodge in over here. They're busy doing some terraforming over here at the moment, or at least they were. Down there I've had to put a ramp in because the road wouldn't stretch across it. So once the snow's thawed out and I can see what I'm doing, is I'll finish the road, get another fishing lodge built over here, and then I can match the number of fishing places with the number of farming places. So hopefully that'll improve with the food resources. But as soon as we've got our market here working, I should be able to start trading things like the wool and the grain for food as well. And then we can start focusing on some improvements over here for the food. So it's going to take a while for this donkey here to give us another donkey. So I'm just going to I think I'll just pause the video off, and then I'll bring you back once we're ready to start actually making use of donkeys. Wow, finally we've got 3 donkeys now, but the population's been just dropping and dropping. Mostly due to old age. Some of them I think went I think some of them might have gone because of like accidents in the mine or something, but they've been slowly dying off, and I'm literally having to, I just can't cover everything. I just don't have enough people left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the builder, because at the moment the builder can't do anything until people provide the resources, but I've only got 1 miner left, so I can't cover everything. I mean, I've been shuffling things around, I've been deconstructing stuff over here. Eventually what I decided to do, there was a flax farm over here, and I've moved that over to here. All of the fishermen at the moment are now, all of the farmers at the moment are now fishing, so we've got a new fishing lodge up here. So I've got 14 fishing positions to match the number of farmers. I did a bit of clearing down here and put a new farm down here, and that'll be used for hay. I mean, we're doing okay on here, to be honest, so I'm just going to leave that paused for now. But I'm just waiting for them to be able to get the resources to build this little well nearby. And I mean, I had been thinking of putting it up here, but I mean, it's got to be close by to a barn, really. So yeah, I've just left it right next to the barns. Speaking of which, I've actually paused this barn here. This one was originally getting used. I specifically put it in for the fishermen here, but I've decided, because all the flour from the mill's ending up down here, and I'd rather have it up here where all the bakeries are. So I've paused that off, so the miller should be taking flour over to these places now. I've got all these fishing posts down here, so I've decided to build a barn here just to save them. Some of them I think are taking the fish. I think they might have been coming down to here. At some point they might have been going up to here, but I know ones like this were bringing them up to here. I think it'll be better if I just keep it close by. That way they don't have as much distance to travel. But yeah, I mean, since the builder can't do anything, I'm going to get them to do the caravan trader's job. So I'll add 1 person to that. I'll reduce it down to 1 so I don't get confused. Now for the donkeys that are in here, I'm going to relocate 1 of them, send them over to here. So we've now got an actual donkey that we can use to start doing, trade routes. So one of the first things I want to do is I need food, so I want to start trading it. So I've clicked on that plus icon to select a new trade route, and I want some wool. I want them to pick up wool from this barn here, and I want them to take it over to the market. Then there's the grain. Yeah, the grain's down there. Right, so I'm going to get them to transfer grain from this barn here to the market there. They don't have like a limit. I can't say only pick up this amount. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on this. That's why I've got the little window hanging over here. Just so I can keep an eye on the amounts. And then if it starts getting really low, I can pause them. Now another thing I want, I'm just having a look, so there's a lot of hide up here. So I'm going to get them to pick up hide from that warehouse, from that barn there. And I'll get them to bring it to this one here. So that helps the actual weavers. And then I'm going to do the same with a hide that's in this barn down here somewhere, that one there. Because this is all hide that's getting picked up by the hunters. It's just sitting there technically doing nothing. Unless somebody, one of these two weavers decides to go out there and get it. And it is a long walk. So it's a lot better if I can get the donkey to bring it down to a barn next to them. I mean, I'm not using that one to dump the stuff in because it's getting close to full anyway. Right, so that does those. So I think I'll just unpause it. And what the donkey's going to do, it literally goes, it'll go and pick up the wool from here. Once it's delivered, it'll then do that route. Then it'll go onto that one. Then it'll move on to that one. So you can see there's quite a lot of hide we can transfer across, and it should make it a lot more efficient for the actual the weavers. At some point, I'd love to get things like food and what have you distributed over to here. But first things first, I need to start trading stuff. So we'll just keep an eye on that. So we've got 2 donkeys here still breeding. Where's a little? Oh, there you go. So the donkey's already delivered 92 wool. So now it'll be off to go and get the grain from here, I'd imagine. That's usually what it does. It just goes like a round robin. Oh, there it is. Is that there? Yeah. So you can see it wandering up the road there. So we should see some. There you go. So there's our grain popped up. So what we can then do is we can go to here, and it shows what our stock is. So I can say, right, I've got 120 wool, and I'd like to trade that for, well, eggs is a problem. I really like some eggs. So what can we get for eggs? Now I've got to set how many. So I'm just going to put in 120. It automatically fills in the amount to say that for 120 grain we can get 28 eggs. If I do fish instead, it's 28 fish. If I ask for meat, we'll only get 14 meat. So we're going to do a trade for eggs, and then we'll click OK. It doesn't matter which of these 2 entries I update. I can type in a number in here, or I can click the plus sign. Makes no difference. It automatically updates the other one. So I can't sort of like barter it and say, well, I'll give you 120 grain for 30 eggs. It doesn't work like that. So say as soon as I increase that, straight away it increases that one. If I increase that to 30, it automatically increases that one. And I can't get the order because I don't have enough actual grain to meet the requirements. So I'll put that back to 120. That goes through. So we've now got 28 eggs. So it's in my interest now that, as far as I'm aware, I think the goods just stay there. I don't think anybody's going to actually come out and pick anything up. So I'm going to add another route in to say, can you pick up some eggs from that market and take them over to, let's see, so where are the vegetable bakers? Would help if it wasn't so dark. They're over here, so yeah, I think that's one of them there. There's a vegetable pie, one vegetable pie. So right, so I want them to go over to that barn there. So I'm going to say, right, go and pick up some eggs from the market and deliver them to this barn here. So we've now got 5 trade routes. So you can have up to 8 trade routes, and you can have up to, I think it's what, possibly 5. Yeah, you can have up to 5 donkeys servicing all those routes. But once you get to that limit, realistically you're then going to have to build another caravan stable, you know, to fulfill bigger trades. So I'm just going to see how much we've got now. So we've got 120, well, we've got 184 wool, so let's see what we can get for, oh hang on, it's winter now. I got too distracted there. Oh, that's alright, yeah. I keep getting confused. I'm forgetting the seasons because I have to keep. It's really frustrating having to do the micromanagement of swapping over the fishermen and the farmers. But we've got some wool, so I'll do 180 wool. Let's try some more eggs, because the eggs and fish doesn't make a difference. I get the same amount, so I can get 64 eggs for the actual wool. So we'll get some more of that in. The game's got to actually be running. It can't be on. It doesn't. The deal doesn't go through if the game's paused. Okay, so somebody else has now died of old age. So I've got about 9 teenagers coming through, so that's not too bad. But basically, my plan now is just to keep getting the donkey to supply the goods here. You know, the wool and the well, the wool down there, the grain up there, to here, and then I can just keep selling them off for things like fish, for instance. I'll get the fish probably delivered here. There's meat as well I could potentially get. Until I get enough people, I can't really do much else in terms of the jobs. I mean, what I've been doing is I've got so far with the cattle pasture, but I've put that on pause because I don't have enough people to look after the place. Oh, straight up I can see there's a foxer there. I've transferred the orchard from here to here. I mean, I've left it on pause just so I can stop the trees growing. I've got an instruction ready to go for the terraforming up there, because I want to expand to the west so I can then, you know, transfer the windmill there over to here, so that keeps the flour more local. The down here, yeah, we've got that farm ready to go if I need to. So I'm just really waiting for resources now. I need more people to start going out and get the resources to go into the mines at the moment, because one thing I found is even during the, you know, like the spring and the summer, I'm sending people out to places like this and they're starving to death. By the time they get out here, it's a case of they need to go back to get something to eat, and then it's a case of, I mean, sometimes I've had somebody down here that just about got back to the front door and they're starved to death. So that hasn't been very practical. I'm now going to have to just rely on the mines. It's just, it seems too far to go for them. They're not, the AI's not there to say, look, if you're going to go this far, it's not going to work. It's odd because when you do the warehouses, they won't pick things up from a certain distance. You know, if it's beyond a certain distance, they just don't go there and pick things up from it. But when it comes to, like, you know, mining and gathering resources out in the wilderness there, there's no thought goes into it, whatever. They just go out there, and then if they die, they die. It's unfortunate. One thing I've been doing is I've added in an instruction to put a watchtower there, because basically I want to block off that little exit point here, or entry point. As you see, we've now got a fox in the area, which I definitely don't want, and I need to be able to protect that pasture once it gets online. So I'm gonna have to find somebody to help me get rid of this fox. Right, come on, let's get rid of this fox. I mean, it's not causing a problem at the moment, but all the same, I want rid of it. Thank you very much. Your services are appreciated. So yes, I'm really pleased now. We've got our donkeys, and we've got them breeding down here. So we're up to, we've now got 2. For some strange reason, it seems to take a heck of a long time before the second one turns up. Then the third one seems to be a bit more, well, feels it turns up a bit more quicker. I mean, I don't know. It's a strange sort of like breeding system they've got when you've got like one animal can like breed anyway. But yeah, hopefully we'll end up with about 10 of them. If I do need more here, then I'll open up that little field down there. Otherwise we're okay. So I think things are going to be a lot more efficient around here. I actually increased the number of clothes because I was originally on 100, because I can see these have capped off now. They've reached a max and they've stopped making clothes, because there was a point where that was set at 100. I've increased it to 200 so I can just keep up with the population. And I've done the same with the number of tools. That was capped at 50, so I've increased that to 100 because I want to be able to keep more tools as the population increases, because every so often they'll go out and replace their tools. But also when when the teenagers grow up and are ready to work, the first thing they're going to need are tools. So there's still things to address when it comes to the issue of food. I mean, meat, for instance, is going to be a problem. Eggs aren't too bad because I can just keep, at the moment, I can just keep going on buying them. So as long as this, as long as the donkeys keep coming along and getting me the actual the resources that I can then sell off, we should be fine. So I think I'm just going to leave that there for this video, and then in the next one where we'll pick up is finishing off this area and getting the population increased so we can start making more food. Basically, I need more people, so I'll probably get this house here built, because there's a lot of people going to be working here, and then we'll basically start putting those into fields, orchards and so on. But hopefully we'll be able to get quite a good amount of produce through the actual market here. So I do hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If so, then do please leave a like, because that'll help me out a great deal. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see more content, then yeah, do subscribe. Just remember to click the little bell icon, because that way you get notifications for when new content comes out. If you've got any comments, any suggestions, any feedback at all that you'd like to leave, then please post that in the comments section below. But until the next video, thanks very much for watching. Bye!